Hello and welcome to the all-new Marvel Roundup, the Southgate Media Group's guide to the Marvel Comics of the week, part of the Enough Said podcast. I am Phil Parrish, and joining me as always is...
Charlie Esser.
Alright. Guess I'm starting us off this week. I guess I'll start with Star-Lord number 4. Really interesting one here. If you remember last issue, Peter Quill's been basically been sentenced to community service. So he's been spending it with that elderly gentleman in the retirement home, and Daredevil seemed to have heard his name before.
I recall.
What?
I recall.
Yes, and so they get into this here. I'm looking for the guy's name. I always forget the guy's name. Edmund. So Daredevil and Peter are confronting Edmund, and he's he used to be a cat burglar, but then he said he gave it up when it became too dangerous. But then he starts talking about his brother James. He does. They don't say where, but Edmund and James both find this. They found this alien suit back in the day. I guess they said it's alien. They don't say when or where it comes from, but they experiment with it. And I guess the thing is that it can lock itself into a position in space. So when they activated it, the Earth's rotation took it away, so it looks like the suit just flew away through a wall at hyper speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fascinating concept, being held to a point in space, which would make time accelerate to any person in that point in space, because our actual flow of time relates to our flow through space. So if you could actually remain static in one point, time would just crash upon you. The only reason why time has a more even flow is because we're constantly moving away from it.
Mm-hmm. Because he even says, if we had positioned it the wrong way, it would have went through the Earth. But
that would be bad.
Yeah. So I guess they never find the rest of the suit, but they still have the gloves and the boots for it. So I guess he says they were working on it, and if they used them the right way, it would give them
flight. What are they going to do with the gloves and the boots?
Well, he said if they work, it would give them flight, ultimate strength, and vulnerability. Basically, the possibilities were endless, but they were just supposed to be working on the suit for their employer, Charlie. Who was their employer?
The kingpin of crime.
No. AIM. The beekeepers themselves. AIM.
But they're good guys now.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is back in the day, so.
That was back when they were still bad guy AIM.
Mm-hmm. So
see, they missed it by a couple of decades.
Yeah, so AIM kills the brother, Edmund gets away, and I guess he was using the gloves and the boots as a cat burglar until in the beginning they show a flashback of Daredevil, catching him. This is how long ago it was. Daredevil was in the yellow suit.
Love the yellow suit. You should go back to that.
So that's how long ago this was, but yes, and they showed him kind of leaping away off the balcony. Yeah, and then they went into the explanation of the suit, so that's how he did it. But he says, he quit when it got too dangerous, between, superheroes coming after him, and there's actual supervillains out there. But Daredevil still wants to take him in, and Peter's like, no. He's like, he's just an old man, and he's like telling Daredevil, go punch a drug lord, not a Star Lord. And basically Daredevil says, if he steps out of line once, I'm coming for both of you. And Peter's like, whatever. And Then later at the bar, Peter's working, and the melter comes up. Oh, he's talking to the melter, and then the shocker comes up to him and says, have you seen Diamond Head? He's like, I'm worried about him. He says, he walked out here a couple nights ago. There was some kind of scuffle in the alley, but when I went out, he was gone. So Peter says, let me take a look. He puts on his Star-Lord helmet. He's like scanning the alley.
Got to suit up,
Yeah, well, he's scanning the alley. He finds like diamond dust on the wall, which indicated a scuffle with Diamond. Diamond Head got in a scuffle, and Shocker's like, you think this dust is worth anything?
What did they hit him with that his Diamond Head would have left dust?
I'm trying to remember if they showed. Yeah, I don't know if they
made of diamonds.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if they showed. I don't think they showed, but yeah. So then Peter's he's using, I guess, Greg. Remember Edmund's son who like manages the bar. He gets him to show him the security cameras, and Greg says, we don't need trouble. And Peter's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but it's going to be bad if your clientele keep getting kidnapped. So then Peter finds a license plate, and he calls in a favor. He calls Abigail Brand, says, what's this? Who's this car registered to? So then it's Peter and Shocker tracking down Diamondback, and Shocker says, sorry, I don't want, because they had the Uber, because Shocker says, sorry, I don't have a car. He says, Spider-Man kind of wrecked it.
He's a menace.
So they break into this warehouse where they track down Diamond Head. They find his severed head and his leg. Although he's still talking, even though his head's severed from his body.
Nah, he's made of diamond. I mean, obviously, there's something crazy.
Yeah, I think it was some. I think it was some kind of alien technique that turned him into Diamond Head. So
I would imagine so. Was he like with the same group with that created Nitro?
I don't know. I think he was I think he was in like Rich Rider's original Nova series. I think he was like a Nova villain originally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forget who created Nitro, but that was Alien Tech too. And
yeah, wasn't it like a Kree? Well, like a Kree.
I don't know if that was the Kree or if that was the Skrulls, because I know that it was. I can never remember like exactly what side on all of that Captain Marvel fell. If he was a betrayer of the Kree, or if he was a hero to the Kree. Mm-hmm. I think they go back and forth among the Kree with that too.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Peter and Shocker run into the bad guys. They knock out Peter. They tell him Shocker took off when the trouble started. And that's when Peter meets the boss, Black Cat, of course.
Man, I really hope they make her much more powerful of a villain. Yeah. I love Black Cat as a villain in this that they've been doing, but I want her to really be someone everyone's afraid of. I don't want her to just be. Well, isn't that guy who used to date Peter? Isn't that the guy who used to date? I don't want her being on the B list of. She's no Silvermane, is what I'm trying to say. She needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree. They need to give her something. I mean, she has those bad luck powers, but yeah, she needs a big gimmick.
Well, if nothing else, she should just start causing bad. Well, honestly, I guess maybe Wilson Fisk has been experiencing a lot of bad luck of late. So, you think about that whole that probability altering power. That's basically what Scarlet Witch's power is.
Mm-hmm.
Her old hex power. Basically, Black Cat could be like a Scarlet Witch level villain. Although I guess maybe because she keeps it all kind of mundane, it doesn't drive her mad. So, man, that is a crazy old wreck. That is some crazy headcanon that someone eventually is going to do with Black Cat as the ultimate destroyer of the universe.
Well, I think Black Cat's powers were were given to her. Like she went to the Kingpin and he had his scientist give them to her originally. Because I think that was like the original thing that came between her and Spider-Man is like when he found out she got her powers from the Kingpin.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I understand
Yeah.
how she got her powers, and I remember that issue. It was basically Peter being very jerk mansplaining to her how that's how you get powers. You get them through random chance and getting bitten by a spider.
Accidents.
Like God intended. It's like, way to mansplain it, Pete. But my point is that it doesn't matter how she got that power. It's like, the Molecule Man. The Molecule Man, got blown up by radiation, basically. And yet he's an omnipotent, possibly completely omnipotent being of the Omniverse. And Black Cat could be that too. Just like, oh yeah, we pushed some buttons and shot her with some ray beams and superpowers.
Yeah, but hers is kind of more passive because you were talking about the Scarlet Witch and Molecule Man, who basically have to say, I can do this, I can do this. Hers isn't like a conscious thing. It's just like basically if anyone tries to like mess with her, it, bad luck befalls them. So,
but to that extent, with her. After Otto got her arrested and she basically got mad, her powers got a lot more focused.
Yeah.
Remember that all the bad stuff that happened to Electro kind of was because of her. And, there was, that wasn't, but she actually survived the Electro thing because she destroyed an entire prison. But again, it's this idea that in order for Electro, which actually means that all the bad stuff that happened to Electro was because of her. Because in order for that bad luck to befall that person, because this was essentially how the Scarlet Witch's hex powers got made Omega level. Because originally it was just, bad luck, you tripped, you fell, your gun misfired. But I want to say it was Byrne who actually was writing at the time, who came up with this idea. Well, you realize that there's like 1,000 other events that have to happen for that to occur, which means that in order for someone to trip right at that moment and to have her go blue blue blue, you're going to trip. Someone had to leave that mop handle there. Which meant that going back in time, someone had to leave something for that to happen just at that moment. That floor had to be slippery in just that spot, which means that she could create retroactive continuity, which is essentially what Black Cat does when she causes someone bad luck. Just saying, Marvel creates Omega level characters all the time and doesn't realize it. And it's only like later someone said, it's like me and Boulder. It's like, Boulder's an Omega level character. But no one knows it yet. But someday me or someone who is like me who knows that Boulder is an Omega level character is going to go, oh shoot, this is the guy who survives everything.
No.
And that's the character that's going to be like, here's my thing. I think Boulder basically was floating around in the void at the end of Secret Wars. And then, and so when the universe, he was just sort of floating out there like, oh, there's Doom. He's creating a universe. Okay. And here's this stuff happening. Okay. And then the Earth gets recreated. He falls back to Earth. And he's like, okay, let me go back to fry cooking, I guess. Or maybe let me put on my uniform and go fight some crime because, whatever. He survived it because he is an Omega level character. But just in a different way. And that was what the thing with Scarlet Witch was she was Omega level, but in a different way. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm taking away from your time.
That's okay. No, so Peter, Black Cat explains to Peter that she's been cutting up Diamond Head, because I guess she said his body parts grow back, so she's been cutting limbs off him to sell the diamonds.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
Is she cut Diamond Head in on this deal? Because honestly, I would that you'd say that Diamond Head would say, "Oh, cool. Do I get 10%?" It's like, sure, you can have 10%. Your hands, man. Because he's a hench. He knows how the gig works.
Mm-hmm.
But 10% of that deal is a pretty good deal.
But no, she doesn't really say if he's cut in on it. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be the flaw in the plan.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's what you cut him in on it and say, like, dude, I'm not gonna take any of the parts of your body you want to keep, but let me cut off a tip of your finger once a week. We're gonna make a kill. You see, that's the problem with most supervillains. They just want that quick score.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you take a long. See, that's why the Kingpin actually is like. That's why he is the Kingpin of crime, because he took his time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sitting there with vengeances, craziness. He's like, let's one piece at a time. Like building a Cadillac and a Johnny Cash song. It's just one piece at a time.
But yeah, so Black Cat says the heat's been on her lately, so she tells Peter she wants him to pull a job for her, and ensures cooperation. She took a hostage, Greg, the manager of the bar, so Peter's going to pull a job for the Black Cat. Dun dun dun.
Bum, bum.
But
man, there's an interesting point in that. The idea that the heat has been on Black Cat lately, because she's a villain that everyone gets to use because she's kind of in that like B+ level of a villain right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like she can be in a Ms. Marvel book, she can be in a Patsy Walker book, she can be in the Venom books. So yeah, the heat's been on her because she's someone that everyone gets to play with,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting very meta. Books are getting real meta lately. I don't know why, but I love it.
But yeah, it was a thumbs up.
Awesome.
So I guess then I will go to Uncanny Avengers 21.
Oh, I browsed this in the store.
Oh yeah,
it is an awesome book.
I'm so tempted.
I didn't buy it, but man, oh.
Do I want
what Deadpool does?
Yeah, I just wonder if I want to make this my pick of the week or not. Yeah, let's go with pick of the week.
Go ahead, man. I mean, honestly, if I had bought it, it might have been. Because that just to show Deadpool's 3-dimensional chess playing against this pansy, this Red Skull. It's like, really, dude. You got one superpower. Oh, I can read minds and control people. It's like, ooh, scary. Until there's someone you can't, or maybe two people. What happens in this book, Phil?
Well, continuing from last issue, the Red Skull still has Rogue beating on Deadpool, and he said Deadpool's like, "Here's something you need to know," and he's like, "I don't think so." Red Skull's basically like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so," and he says, "But it might be interesting to hear your last words, like make them count." And Deadpool says, "You hate that you can't read my mind. Trust me, you're not missing much." He says, "But while you're busy hurting my friends, Rogue had me formulating a backup plan in case she failed." And the Skull's basically telling him his planning is lackluster, and he says, "No, not really." He's like, "No, really." He's like, "I got Wong and Spider-Man to help me. Then I went looking for the X-Men in Westchester, but they weren't home. Because everyone, the X-Mansion's in limbo, so."
That is true.
Yep.
Continuity, man. They make it work.
Yeah, but basically Deadpool was rooting around in the X-Men's basement, because the Red Skull's like, "My ice cream is melting, get to the point," and Deadpool says, "The X-Men are..."
Okay, wait, stop for 1 second. Do you know the importance of the ice cream?
No.
Okay, the actual inspiration for the Red Skull was because who worked with Jack Kirby to create Captain America? Jack Kirby and
was it Joe Simon?
Yeah, Joe Simon. Thank you. Joe Simon was eating a hot fudge sundae, and as the hot fudge was melting, he saw this like image of a skull. And originally, he was thinking like the Red Skull as like the hot fudge, but then he like said, "No, but that's a cool image. I don't want him to be like a fudge character. I want him to be the skull." And so that's the importance of the hot fudge sundae there. A little bit of Marvel trivia for you.
More meta.
Although timely trivia.
Yeah. So basically,
Deadpool is in this book. So
yeah, that's true. But he says the X-Men are sentimental collectors. And what does he pull out and give the Rogue, Charlie?
The thing that Charles Xavier can't look through. not a water tower, but
Magneto's helmet.
Yes. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant writing. Can't wait to see what Zub does.
Oh, yeah. Jim Zub, I can't wait. But, yeah, so Rogue's no longer under his control, so Rogue goes after the Skull and his daughter. The daughter tries to stop Rogue. Rogue puts her through a wall.
Okay, can we just stop for a moment? Let's remember that Rogue's power set is Ms. Marvel's power set. Ms. Marvel...
Well, the original Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, Captain Marvel. But that's Marvel's current official Superman pastiche.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she is like the greatest hero, super strength, super speed, da-da-da-da-da. Rogue has all that. Okay? So, and Sin is literally, we're going to say a 20-something girl. You know, who may have like some ninja training, but you know, there's no kryptonite for Ms. Marvel. Is what I'm going to say here, and Rogue has that, and the patheticness of people who with hubris is bad. That's what we can say.
I mean,
bad.
Sin's not a deep thinker. She's like more of a psychopath.
Well, true. Well, she, you know, honestly, she might be a deep thinker someday if her dad would let her shine. But her dad's still around, and her dad is and though technically, this isn't even her dad. It's a clone of a previous version of her dad who really has no knowledge of her except that, I guess the later version of him impregnated someone.
And they never really say it, but I wouldn't put it past the Skull to like he could still manipulate her and throw her in Rogue's way, you know.
Oh no, absolutely. But of course, we all know how this ends.
Oh yeah, Rogue takes.
Well,
the
you
Skull
tell us
down. Yeah, no, I mean Rogue catches up to the Skull, knocks him outside, and takes him out right in front of that classic Avengers, you know, the statue of the original Avengers.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dude was just totally outmatched here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, you know, not for nothing, I really don't know why there's not a neck snap in this. You know, this needs a final episode of Jessica Jones, quite kind of ending right here. It's like, you know what? I know we all want Charles back, and I know we live in a universe where people come back all the time, but at this point, let's just... If he's coming back, he's going to get back somehow. But let's just call a shelter half an entrenching tool and Jessica Jones this.
Well, that's the point. It's like, does the Skull need to be alive to take Xavier's brain out, even if you think you can get Xavier back? Because Xavier was dead when the Skull took the brain out and put it in his head.
Still not explained.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense. Xavier was dead when he took the brain, and it's working in the Skull's head now. So why can't you kill the Skull?
Yeah, I mean, if I was Rogue, I'd do that. But you know,
well, yeah, Quicksilver.
You know, superheroes aren't supposed to kill people straight up. You know, this is why they needed Jessica Jones in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she did that in the comic books, but it was great when she did it in the TV series. That's what I'm going to say. It's like, you know, it's like, yes, just, you know, and although, you know, not for nothing, that's what Simpson wanted to do from the start in that series. It's like, you know, Simpson's like, there are certain people that kind of need killing. This is one of them. And Jones is like, no, there's a reason. It's like, all these reasons aren't going to be as good as just killing them right now.
Oh, we'll get to the Purple Man this week, Charlie.
Oh, I know we will. I know that man's fingerprints are on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Rogue doesn't kill the Skull. She takes off with him. Synapse and Janet Van Dyne find Cable, and Synapse says it can't be. The Red Skull erased his mind. Yeah, right. I'm thinking he transferred his mind somewhere.
Well,
into that.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
No. You know what they're going to do?
They're
going to put Xavier's mind in
Cable's
Nathan
body.
Summers.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Coming soon.
Oh, good lord!
You saw that on the phone booth. I know.
Oh lord. So God, don't do that. So Doctor Voodoo finds Deadpool, and as Deadpool's basically stitching himself back together.
As you do.
And Deadpool saying how he failed Rogue, and Dr. Voodoo's like, no, you're not thinking straight. You saved us all. And he says, no, it was supposed to be me. I'm supposed to kill the skull, not her. That's how this story was supposed to end.
Deadpool says that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. Oh, that's a beautiful fourth wall break without actually looking like a fourth wall break.
Mm.
Which is, he's the guy that's supposed to kill the skull. Because if he kills the skull, because he can kill the skull, he doesn't have to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Rogue doesn't have to take that on her. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even beyond that, that's just the reality of the story. Oh man, I am so sad I didn't pick up this book. Now I'm mad at DC for having too many books. If Action Comics had been a $2.99, I would have gotten that book. And man, now I'm regretting it.
Yeah. So
let it be a lesson to you, kids. Don't get tempted by DC because you're gonna pass on something you think is just to punch them up, and there's gonna be that turn of phrase that hits your nerd spot just right that makes you go, "Oh, why did I ever doubt Marvel for even a moment?" A moment.
Charlie Esser's here to say, hey kids, don't give in to those DC. The DC comics are passing out on the street corners.
Don't do DC, kids. Nancy Reagan says, "Don't do DC." That's what I say.
The war on DC. Anyway, so the Avengers are cleaning up at the mansion, and they're loading Deadpool into an ambulance, and as Deadpool's saying, "Yikes! This new Cable and Deadpool reboot kind of sucks, huh?" So the Avengers are standing around.
Is there Cable attached in that, or
no?
Cable, because Cable's in this.
Yeah.
I forgot because he didn't show up because he wiped his brain.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember. Okay, I'm caught up.
So basically, the Avengers are standing around, and they're like, what are we gonna, they're like, what's Rogue doing? Where's she taking the skull? And Synapse says, hopefully to the Punisher.
Yeah, we all agree on that. Okay, this is the Jessica Jones moment. Don't be cute, Rogue. Don't be cute.
Yeah, but then Dr. Voodoo says, the Avengers didn't have a plan for the skull beyond capturing him. He says, but the X-Men did. I think I know where she's going. And did you see where she went, Charlie? At the end of the issue?
No. Where did she go?
She went to New Adelan, and she takes him to Hank McCoy.
So Hank McCoy's going to say, let's figure out exactly how the hell you... Sorry, Rob. How the heck you stuck Xavier's brain inside your own brain to start with? So that was at 31:24, probably 31:22, Rob, if you need to bleep that.
No, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, you get one of those words in a standard PG show. So there we go. We're not G-rated. We're PG.
Charlie,
don't let your kids read comics, kids.
Charlie is just passionate about these comics.
Yeah, I am way too passionate about these comics.
But
okay, that was your pick of the week, Phil.
Yeah, my pick of the week. Big thumbs up.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna go to my pick of the week, and man, this was a tough one, but I am gonna make it Ms. Marvel. Man, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna tell you. With all due love and affection to Roxanne Gay, who is doing her romance adventure comic over at World of Wakanda, This is romance adventure done right. Okay, so we're opening up with apparently the origin of .x or doc.x, which is some nerd. I don't want to say nerd. Well, actually, he's a hipster programmer. He's got a lip. He's got a lower lip ring. Okay, if there's anything that tells you this man is not fit for human consumption, it is that he's got a lower lip ring. And him and his other homie are sitting around talking about this virus this guy is creating. Although, man, it would be cool if he was drinking Hypno energy drink because, man, that would be a great callback. Except that's probably copyright Fox right now. He has created the doc.x virus. And it's basically this intelligent. It's basically an artificially intelligent supercomputer virus that will infect everybody's computer and then learn from the person they're talking to's behavior. And then we cut to Kamala Khan, who has a picture of herself and Nakia, but Doc.X has inserted himself in the picture, and we see Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, talking to him through her phone. And basically what he says is, he wants her to upload him to the S.H.I.E.L.D. protected servers because he's mad at her, basically, because he's like the one brain he can't hack. And he wants to get on the S.H.I.E.L.D. servers, which is something he also can't hack. We get a great scene of her meeting with Phil Coulson, who is like the Clay Quartermain of the modern Marvel universe. She's got the Doc.X on a flash drive. She's going to upload it, but we go to Phil's office, which is just filled with all kinds of crazy hero tech and nerdery of various kinds. You might have a Sparta Slayer in there. I'm not sure. And then she decides she can't go through with it. And Phil's like, a little sad Phil doesn't come back in this, though. Maybe he comes back later. I don't know. But it's a great depiction of Phil. But, Kamala Khan realizes she has to take the bullet. And just so you understand, the reason she's doing this is because Doc.X threatened he would reveal her secret identity. But more to the point, she was going to reveal the fact that what's her name? The former the girl that's in love with Nakia. What's her name? Zoe. That Zoe has been writing love letters to Nakia, her good fellow Pakistani Muslim friend, because Zoe is gay. And you see Ms. Marvel have this great confrontation with her where she basically explains, look, I need to tell you what's about to happen. All of your love letters are going to be put online basically what you find out is that Zoe has never sent one of these love letters to Nakia. She just has always wanted to. It's been an unrecorded thing. She doesn't want to be open about it. She's just, in this kind of pained way. But this is who she is, because she realized after the last incursion, this is who she was, and she reformed her life. Anyway, so Captain Marvel goes out to looks like the Meadowlands. Based on the reeds and the old refrigerators laying around. Oh, look, there's Wilson. The volleyball. As she reaches out to Doc.X to explain to her that she's not caving into him. And then we get Nakia and Zoe talking as friends, and she basically admits her love for her. And then in a great moment, Nakia basically hugs her and says, look, I don't reciprocate your emotions, but just know I'm always your friend. And I will always be your friend. And that's where we're at. And they hug it out, and it is beautiful. And then We cut to Bruno back in Golden City Polytechnic Prep, where he is being turned into a robot by his dorm mate. Those two crazy kids are going to fall in love. You mark my words. Kamala's getting invited to the wedding as the best woman. You watch. At least I assume that's a woman. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's pants and a vest. You never know when it's pants and a vest.
No.
Has long braids. That's why I assume female, but that's an assumption on my part. Because I'm looking now, it looks like they might have a mustache. That might have been the inker making a political statement. I don't know. Or maybe she has a mustache. You know, a lot of women do. Anyway, but basically sends a copy of Doc.X to Bruno, who is, of course, our super genius. And he's like, oh, very interesting. It adds to itself and replicates its behavior. And then we see it says, it's learning from us. This is Ms. Marvel. I blame you for nothing. I respect your privacy, and I hope you have a fabulous life in Wakanda. I figured out how to defeat Doc.X, and it is just, honestly, if you're not reading Ms. Marvel, just pick it up. Just pick up one issue. Hey, if all you want is punching and angry, then maybe it's not the book for you. But for me, it's a great book. And it really does show you how the superhero genre can go beyond just being a superhero genre. I mean, this is a great book about, you get teen angst, you get romance, and you get something that really makes you go, oh, wow, that is beautiful. That is a truly beautiful thing I just witnessed. And so that's my advice to you. Big
Thumbs up.
Absolutely. 2 thumbs up. There we go. I got 2 thumbs. I'll stick up my toes, too. What the heck?
Oh, jeez. All right. All right. Well, we were speaking of Purple Man before, so I guess I'll go to Daredevil 18. If you remember last issue, Matt was confessing to Father Jordan about, how the world forgot his identity. So, remember the Purple Children showed up at his house at the end of the last issue, but he starts off telling Father Jordan about Kilgrave, about how how his power works, how if anyone in the sound of his voice will do whatever he wants. He says,
were the Purple Children introduced before this, or is this our first introduction to the Purple Children?
No,
we had the Purple Girl.
Yeah,
this sounds like they're twins.
Yeah, no, they were introduced, and you know who introduced them? Mark Waid.
Mark Waid again.
Yes, Waid. But yeah, so Daredevil telling Father Jordan about how Kilgrave, warps, he makes people within the sound of his voice do anything he wants. He said there's probably something broken in him from the beginning, but once he got, the power just warped him. Now he's just evil. People were just here for his amusement. He said he's giving himself money, women. He played at being a family man, anything he wants until he gets bored. He says, ordinary people have to think about other people all the time. Caring on some level is an essential survival trait, but not him. Not because he can't, just because he doesn't have to. There's literally no incentive for the Purple Man to ever care about anything other than himself. There's no point to it. Sometimes I think he's the most dangerous man in the world. I think Charlie said that.
Honestly, I've said the Ringmaster is the most dangerous man in the world too. And Reed Richards was this freaking hypno ray that he turned scrolls into cows with. Man, That's some scary stuff, But yeah, and the Purple Kid, and that's the crazy thing about the Purple Man is apparently he's got multiple kids out there.
Oh yeah,
it's there's 3 we know about now. There's Purple Girl and Purple Children, and which means that every couple of years he says, let me go be a family man for a while. And you know what they've never actually discussed, to my knowledge, is whether or not the Purple Man has any effect on other purple people. And
Uh,
maybe that's why he leaves, because the children don't listen to him.
yeah, I'm pretty sure from what's coming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably the case. But yeah, so then Matt's saying how he doesn't know how Kilgrave got out of prison, but then they show it. One of his guards, I guess they had him in like a soundproof cell, but the guard turns off the soundproofing because he makes a deal with Kilgrave. He says, he'll give him some extra perks, while he's in there if Kilgrave talks this woman, I guess he's friends with, into sleeping with him. So
He wants the friends with benefits. I understand.
yeah, so she's like, "What am I doing here?" And Kilgrave's like, "Oh, it's simple." He's like, "John the guard here, he, you know, he says he wants you to love him." So he goes, "So love him to death." And they don't show how. Next thing they show is the guard has a gaping chest wound and she has blood on her hands. And so of course, of course Kilgrave says, "Let me out of the cell," which she does. And he says something to her about death penalty, so I'm assuming he kills her, but we don't see that. Flash ahead. Two of the because I guess there's 6 purple children. 2 of them showed up at Matt's house, and they're like, we need help. Because there's I guess Kilgrave sent a big group.
Wait, there are 6 purple children?
Yes.
I'm assuming different mothers, and they all found each other.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he does this like on a regular basis and then just gets tired and goes home.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell you know why?
Because
you can't tell the baby to stop crying.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they say, like, I guess the more the purple children, their powers are stronger when they're together. So I guess these 2 really don't have much whammy, just the 2 of them, because Kilgrave sends like this big crowd of innocent bystanders after them. So they came to Matt Murdock. He lets them in his house, and the crowd's basically, I mean, he says he can hear the door cracking, bone snapping, because these people are just throwing themselves against the door, because Kilgrave gave them the order to get the kids. And meanwhile, their heartbeats don't go above 90. What?
I said, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. So, they go upstairs, and he tells Kristen to take the 2 purple kids into their safe room. They have a safe room with, like, a big metal door. And Matt's like, he stays outside. He says, "I have to stop them," because he's like, basically, the door's thick. They won't get through it. He's like, but they'll kill themselves, trying to batter this door down. So he puts his suit on, and he's feeling guilty about having to stop these people because they're all innocent. So, he's trying all pressure points and stuff to take them down. And he's like, when they wake up, they'll know it was me who hurt them and all this. But he takes them all, he knocks them all out, takes them all down. And then he gets with the kids, and they say, he said, "I thought you weren't supposed to get together anymore." And one of the kids says, "Yeah, but we've kept in contact." And then the rest of them, slowly but surely, we've lost contact with all the rest of them. He's like, "We can feel each other. We kind of feel each other." And he's like, "Well, but when we got closer, all his people started chasing us." So they found Matt, and they're like, "We think Kilgrave has our brothers and sisters. Now he wants us to. You know how it works. The more of us he has, the stronger he gets. Will you help us?" So he says he will. And since all the kids have this connection, they kind of guided them. They travel by rooftop, so no more people can attack them. They find Kilgrave. He has some kind of machine, and he has the 4 other kids in the machine. I'm assuming to boost his powers. I wonder what that machine's gonna.
Goodness. Does it look like a big diamond? Because that was like the Emperor Doom machine.
It looks like a big computer in the middle, and there's like diamond. I'm assuming there's a kid in each diamond. There's like
diamonds on great each callback.
Side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Emperor Doom machine.
Boy, I wonder
That's what Doom had him.
I wonder what this machine's going to be used for. Mm-hmm.
World domination, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So Matt doesn't want to rush in, but the kids rush in and they're like, "Let them go, father." And he's like, "You brats aren't going to do anything." And just when you think things can't get any worse, Kilgrave takes control of Daredevil.
Oh, goodness.
And grabs the kids for him. Dun, dun, dun. But thumbs up. Good issue.
I've never understood how Daredevil beat Kilgrave the first time.
Well, he says in this issue, he says something about your will if you realize that what he's telling you isn't what you want to do. I don't know. He says you basically have to know yourself, but he kept saying in this issue, he's like, but I was lost.
Yeah. Well, I remember that he did take control of him. I know that it was a classic Stan Lee fake out kind of way that he beat him. I think he plugged it. I think he plugged up his ears, which actually I think is what Patsy uses at the end of the series. Yes, but sounds awesome. Although it's one of these weird things for me because I know that the Purple Girl, who's an Alpha Flight villain, has she's basically equivalent in power level to Kilgrave. So I don't know why the Purple Children aren't. But I'll go along with it. I guess it could be a recessive gene. Makes sense.
All right, but yeah, big thumbs up. So I guess I'll start. I'll do my last book on my own. Amazing Spider-Man number 25, and just a warning, kids, it's oversized. This is
oh no!
Just like those Deadpool issues. This is a $10 book.
Good goodness, Phil! You're just enabling them at this point.
I didn't even realize until I went to pay, and I was like, oh wait, $10.
See, that's why I don't buy Spider-Man or Deadpool on a regular basis. I don't want that pulled for me. It's like, I'll go buy off the shelf. Thank you. You should tell your pull guy, $4.99. That's my limit. You go over $4.99. I'm gonna, because you know what? For a $10.99 book, it'll be on the shelf. That ain't selling out.
Yeah, but there's a few stories in here, so.
Okay.
And the last one you'll enjoy.
Sit back and relax, and drink my beer.
Okay.
Let me know how.
But the first story, the main story is part 1 of the Osborn hunt. It's Las Colinas Rojas, drug capital Del Valle, where Spider-Man
countries, isn't it?
What?
That's one of those made-up countries, isn't
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Where Spider-Man, Mockingbird, and looks like a new female tarantula, and what's the other guy? Devil Spider are taking down this gang, and because this is where the Kingpin pointed Spider-Man last issue. He says that's where Osborn's at, which looks like it is because they run into a group of some of the gang wearing goblin masks. They go through them. Then up above, because I guess they're down in the sewers or something, because up above, there's a mysterious female figure who is, I don't know, has some kind of cloaking technology or something. She's setting explosives to bring the roof down on them, but then innocent bystanders show up, and she's like, no, get out of here. Shooting off a gun. Spider-Man and the others go through the goblins. And then they get to the guy who they think is, I guess it's like the big drug lord of this area. And Spider-Man thinks it's Osborn, even though the guy looks like, I don't know if he's just, almost looks like he has, I don't know if it's a lizard face or something. I don't know if he's supposed to be an Inhuman or something, but Spider-Man thinks it's Osborn. The mysterious woman above blows the explosives. Everything starts caving in, so they grab this big drug guy and take off. He has pumpkin bombs, so they think it's Osborn. Uh, they basically dive into Drug Kingpin's pool and like blow that up, so now they really are in the sewers. And Spider-Man keeps calling this guy Osborn. He says, "I'm not Osborn. Stop saying that." And later, back at Shield HQ, Nick Fury Jr. tells him, "Yeah, it's not Osborn. Fingerprints, retinal scans, voice recognition, blood work. It ain't him." And Spider-Man's really mad about that. And in another secret
I can
hideout,
imagine.
what?
I can imagine he's upset.
Oh yeah,
He went through all this work.
he breaks a conference table. Yeah. Uh, and then in another secret headquarters, we see a guy who looks like that drug lord. Uh, and he says, "Oh, this face is useless to me now." And he goes down to a mad scientist-looking guy, Dr. Dragovic, who I guess has some kind of machine that can give Norman Osborn different faces, including his original one still in there. He just has like this glass cabinet full of faces.
As you do.
Mm-hmm. So then Peter's flying home, I guess. He goes to talk to Uncle Ben at his grave. He's saying, you're back. You're back. Then he's talking about the whole thing with the Jack and everything. He's like, me, Jonah, the Rhino, we all had our greatest loves brought back just to have them die again. How do you come back from that? He goes to see Aunt May.
Wait, he's saying that Uncle Ben came back?
No. He's just talking to he's at Ben's grave, and he's just saying our greatest. I guess he's talking about Gwen Stacy for him, but he's saying our greatest loves were brought back, and we had to watch them die again.
Okay. I really hate when they say Gwen Stacy was his greatest love.
Yeah, I know.
She was, it's like, come on, that was his high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your greatest love. The person you loved in high school was a significant person in your life, but not your greatest love. Not by a long shot.
Plus, she slept with Norman Osborn, but we don't bring that up.
Well, dude, yeah, not for nothing. She's a crazy lady. I mean, not for nothing. The girl weren't right in the head. That girl was like two seconds from the pole with her cop dad and everything, man. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. So then Peter goes to see Aunt May, and Harry Osborn and Betty Brant are there because I guess Peter wanted them to like spend some time with her since she lost her husband. Keep an eye on her. And then Betty's telling Peter about how she's seeing a spiritual advisor now because she got a call from her dead husband a couple days ago. And Peter's like, "Oh crap!" The Ned Leeds clone got a hold of a phone and called Betty. So then Peter and Mockingbird, and then they discover that Aunt May and Terry also got on the plane. They're flying out to they're going out to Hong Kong. There's some kind of Peter has an event out there. So they have a couple different cities, I guess. Shield said Osborn could be in, and Hong Kong is one of them. So I wonder where he's gonna show up. But when they get there, Spider-Man and Mockingbird go out looking for Osborn. And yeah, so Peter's just they're basically beating on guys, saying, "Where's Osborn? Where's Osborn?" And one of the guys said, it's an Asian guy. He's like, "I don't know anything. All I know is he's using another event as a cover." He's like, "UBF," and they're like, "UBF? What's that?" And Spider-Man's like, "No, oh no, UBF, the Uncle Ben Foundation, because that's who's throwing the event."
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, and of course Aunt May and Harry Osborn are there. Norman's there, but wearing a different face, of course. And and he hears Harry saying he's not using the Osborne last name anymore. He's using his mother's maiden name, Lyman.
So
And
he's Harry Lime.
yeah, and then so of course Norman's muttering to himself, "You spoiled brat! After everything I handed to you, you would cast aside the Osborne legacy, your birthright."
Hey, he still has Normie.
Yeah. So then we see the mysterious woman on a rooftop nearby with a sniper rifle. It looks like she's going to shoot Harry, but Spider-Man takes her down, but everyone hears the shot go off, so everyone goes running. And Spider-Man's like, tells Mockingbird, "You're closer, do something." So they try to take the woman down. But then Peter fires some kind of electrified web coils at her. She takes out her cloak, and at the end of this story, the mysterious woman is revealed to be who everyone thought was dead, Silver Sable.
Oh, good old Silver. Glad to see her back. Thank you, Franklin. You did something right.
He's like, "What's happened? You're supposed to be dead." And she's like, "What's going on, Spider? Is that you just saved Norman Osborn?" So that one's to be continued. Yes.
And remember, Silver Sable is never more dangerous than when she's dead.
Yes. And first backup story is you remember the what is his name? Is it Clash? Remember the guy from the Spider-Man Civil War 2 miniseries?
Oh yeah. He was actually from the he was created as a character from, I think they called it Spidey, which was like a retelling of the early years of Spider-Man, and he was like the other teen. He wanted to be a teen hero, but he became a teen villain because he was inspired by Spider-Man at the Ed Sullivan Show. Yes. I remember him. Yes, he's cool.
So he's back in this story. He's trying to rob a Roxxon plant, and so Spider-Man's trying to stop him, and Roxxon has their own like powered security guard.
Okay, now Spidey knows that Roxxon is evil, right?
Of course.
So it's like, oh, you want to rob from Roxxon? Okay. Don't steal cosmic cubes now.
Yeah, but since this guy went bad, I don't think Spider-Man wants any technology falling into his hands either.
I don't know. I guess first off, how bad has he gone would be your first question, and second off, it's like, you know what, Spider-Man, you gotta focus on bigger picture stuff, man. That's why he's a menace,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then Roxxon, like I said, Roxxon has a security guard. I don't know what his powers are supposed to be, but he looks like the Brute, big and purple.
Good old Brute. Well, hey, the Brute's strength is secondary to his supreme intelligence. He is a Reed Richards, after all.
Yes, but this isn't the Brute. It just kind of looks like him.
Yeah, the artist was lazy.
So the guy with the suit is Clash. So basically he gets, what did he steal? Oh, he stole something. He was from Roxxon, and he was pawning it. And the end of the story, we see Peter's like, how far is he gonna go? But then they show Clash. I guess he uses the money he stole. I don't know if all of it or some of it, but he gives it to a no-kill animal shelter.
Aww.
But and then the next story is basically a big commercial. Spider-Man's fighting what is her name? The White Rabbit. And did you ever see? I think of course Disney puts these out. How do you pronounce it? This Tsum Tsums, TSUM. They're like these little
Yeah, I know what a Tsum Tsum is. It's a toy, and they often have like a superhero connotation or other character connotation. They're basically Disney's answer to the vinyl pops.
Yeah, but yeah, this story is basically a big commercial because like the Spider-Man Tsum Tsum helps Spider-Man beat the White Rabbit.
Sweet Christmas, really?
Yeah. Like, it even starts off in a toy store at the beginning of the episode, and then by the end, it's like back in the toy store.
So basically, this was a Hostess commercial, but for two. This was one of the Hostess episodes, but for Tsum Tsums. Oh man, the next Spider-Verse crossover is going to be crazy. Because they did have the Hostess Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse crossover. He tried to create what's his name with delicious snack cakes, but that was not enough. Oh goodness. Okay. So was that worth the $10.99, Phil?
Well, there's still more.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Next story is in Shanghai, where Spider-Man has to defeat these two superpowered. The one's called Aftershock. What's the other one's name?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Is Spider-Man in every single one of these stories? There's no story about like, hey, what's Megatoni doing now that he's hired at Parker Industries, or what's Ms. Marconi up to? You know, there's no anything that's like, hey, here's an interesting side character, but we're going to expand him more in this story, or is it just all, hey, I'm Spider-Man, I'm going to punch someone?
He's in every story except for the last one.
Okay, you got took, Phil. That's all I'm saying.
I know. But basically, there's like these two villains in Shanghai who were basically threatening the crowd, and I guess they're live streaming it, and they're telling people to contribute to their, whatever they have, Patreon or whatever, or they're gonna like kill people.
I can't remember if it's the Spider-Girl story or a Ms. Marvel story, but one of them had that exact same plot, where the villain was basically posting stuff online. And it was like, hey, and they were kind of doing a jokery thing, hey, we're this crazy people. Should we vote to see, should we kill them or should we just beat them up more? Vote now.
But, I mean, maybe this story, you might like this one a little better because Spider-Man gets help from, like, some of the employees from the Shanghai Parker Industries to take the villains down, so.
Anyone interesting?
What is...
Is Boulder working there, or
no? It's basically like a bunch of scientists.
We're just random. Does anyone get a name or a backstory?
Oh yeah, no. It's Dr. Chang and wow, what's her name? Min. I think it's the one who made this newest Spider-Mobile.
Okay, well, that's
yeah, they've been in a couple issues before this.
It's not like it's Camper Van Helsing, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. And then the next story, I don't know what continuity this takes place because it's like a teenage Peter Parker as Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he's of course he's living with Aunt May, and Aunt May looks like this Aunt May from the Spider-Man Web Warriors cartoon.
So it's wait. Okay. Oh, so it's the young hip Aunt May. That's the one from. That's actually the current Aunt May. She's gotten younger somehow as Peter has gotten older. I think she's just sucking the life out of people.
Yeah, somewhat. But yeah, no. It's basically the story's like one night while teenage Peter's out as Spider-Man, he finds this stray dog. He brings the dog home. Aunt May tells him he can't keep it. Yada yada. Eventually,
Please tell me it's Ms. Lion.
What?
Please tell me it's Ms. Lion. Is it like a Shih Tzu?
No. It could have almost been Miss Lion, but the dog's a little bigger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. But eventually, Aunt May makes him give the animal to they call some animal shelter to come get it. Then Peter comes home the next day.
A no-kill shelter to bring it all.
They don't say. I don't know if they.
Didn't say.
Oh, she calls animal control.
Oh, okay. Well, then they definitely kill.
Yeah. So the next day, Peter comes in more depressed and discovers Aunt May bought him a fish.
Is the fish named Ms. Lion at least? I don't know.
Peter says he's going to name it May.
Oh. Eh. Okay. Well, that's a cute story.
Yeah.
Not excessively.
Don't worry about the
Go along
dog.
with it.
Yeah. Then there's a cute two-page strip of like different like Aunt May comedic stuff. Basically terrorizing villains. Oh, I gotta get to the last
I would
story.
admit she is very scary to villains because every time she's around, Spider-Man shows up.
Well, in one strip here, she uses her vacuum cleaner to vacuum up Sandman and the symbiote off of Venom.
I believe they actually have used a vacuum cleaner to defeat Sandman in the
Oh
past.
yeah, his first
so.
appearance. Yeah.
Oh, Stan Lee, you really didn't like to work hard.
It was an industrial vacuum cleaner at Peter Parker's high school. Come on.
It was a shop vac, yes.
Yes. All right, I got
It was
you.
a vac, so you could also use it against Hydro Man, so it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. All right, I gotta get to the last story. You're gonna love this. All right, so we see this story opens up with we see a bread pickup truck pull up in front of I believe this is a junkyard, and a guy gets out and he's telling he's like, "Oh, you're not even wearing shoes. You got a watch in there. You're gonna get tetanus." And like, and this figure says, "You needn't worry. I'm in excellent shape. In fact, I've never been healthier in my life." And the figure thanks the guy for giving him a ride, and he says, "I'm gonna do great things, change the world, and on that day you will be one of the favored." And then the guy jumps over the fence. He says, this body is performing exceptionally well, and why shouldn't it? This proto-clone is better than anything the Jackal could have designed, because I perfected it.
Yes, he did.
The face is a marked improvement, a synthesis of spider clone and my own DNA. There's no denying the stronger, more predominant features are those of Otto Octavius.
Yes. The superior octopus.
So I believe he said this is on the West Coast because the secret door opens up. It's been a while since he's been to this West Coast base. And he's checking all his computers, and then he sees all these bad reports. The stock of Parker Industries is tumbling, and he says, "Idiot, why isn't Parker putting a stop to this? I built that company for me from the ground up. I was going to use it to advance all of mankind, and now he's going to ruin everything."
He is. Otto, please help him. Just, don't be a supervillain. Just like put on a suit and says, "Hello, my name is Joe Otto. Mm-hmm. I'm here to fix your business because I'm a business guy and I want to do a business in your company."
So Otto's like, "Enough. For the sake of all that is good, your time of running my empire is over." But then he's like, "Wait a minute." He realizes this base is too clean for a place he hasn't been to in years. Then he says, "Octopus sense tingling." So he must have given himself a spider sense. Then you hear, "Hail Hydra!"
Oh goodness.
So they start shooting at him, and he's like, "First Parker, now you." He's like, "You're parasites, all of you, feasting off the fruits of my labor." Time to reclaim what is mine. So he's knocking around. He's jumping. He's climbing up walls. He's knocking Hydra agents around. And they're like, "Oh, this guy is obviously a super." They know. They're like, "Anyone know which one?" They're like, "It's got to be a spider." He's like, "Fools! I am and forever shall be one singular being, and one that is no mere spider. I am Otto Gunther Octavius."
Yes.
So he takes him down. Looks like he's pulling out a spare set of his mechanical arms.
Yeah, the arms, man.
Yeah. He says
science.
Yeah, because he says, "This is my base, and here I am always well armed." He says, "But I can't stay here. Hydra, worse than a."
There's too much Parker DNA in there, man. I'm sorry. I'm always well armed.
He says,
always.
Yeah.
Quipping.
But he says he can't stay. Hydra is worse than a vermin infestation. Now that they know the location, they're just going to keep coming with superior numbers until there's no end to them. Then a voice says, "That is true, Herr Doctor, but that could be to your advantage." And he's like, "Who?" He turns around. He's like, "Arnim Zola."
Wah, wah.
And Zola says, "Hydra will be sending men to this base, but if you wish, they could work for you. Whether you meant to or not, you passed Hydra's first test. By defeating this group's leader, you are now the best candidate for his replacement." And Otto's like, "Why would I want to do that?" And Zola says, "Because we all share the same goal, the destruction of Parker Industries. Interested?" And Otto's like, "Yes, for now."
Yeah. Oh, Otto's going to be the hero of Secret Empire, man. He's going to totally turncoat on that Hydra cap.
Mm-hmm. And
you watch it, man. Mark my words.
And as Zola's shaking his hand, he says, "New body." He's like, "Let's see, on a cellular level, this looks like some of Miles Warren's work with a few improvements." And Otto says, "My improvements, and I don't intend to stop there. My mind is racing with all kinds of new possibilities." They show him designing a new suit. With the help of these new minions, the vast resources of Hydra's disposal, and my unparalleled designs, I am ready to remake myself to reach my full potential and become Otto Octavius, the superior octopus. Dun,
really
dun,
sticking
dun.
with the octopus. You can't just say I'm the superior octopus. How about just I'm Otto and I'm the best there is?
Well, he's wearing
I'm the best there is at what I do. What I do, I'm pretty.
He's wearing like a full body Hydra suit. I mean, I sent you the picture. His whole head's covered. He's got like the Spider-Man lens eyes. He's got looks like his superior web shooters on there. But yeah, he's wearing his arms.
Yeah. Oh no, I get it. I get it. He wants to be a superhero. You know who doesn't in this world? It just. Oh, just he shouldn't have put the Parker DNA in there. That's what I gotta say. You know, any of that Parker stuff, it's just bad mojo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd say.
But
okay.
but yeah, thumbs up. I mean, there was other good stuff in here, but just that last story, if nothing else, thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know if that last story was worth $10.
No, not $10.
That's what I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, that does sound like a great story. I would definitely pay $3.99 for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to my next book, Great Lakes Avengers. This is interesting because it opens up with Doorman claiming a soul, which is honestly one of the most interesting things I think as yet. Because Doorman's going to usher this person, Greg Garlick, down to the infinite void. And he kind of makes some statements that basically says, yeah, when you're dead, you're gone. You're in the void. There's no consciousness and everything ends. Which is like completely counterintuitive to everything any other comic book has ever said up until this point in this universe. Which kind of suggests that maybe only heaven is for the very, very special. And maybe hell is only for the very, very special. But most of us hoi polloi just get tossed into the void. Which is super, super depressing. But that's the omniverse we've been given. But Doorman, because he's a human, gets totally pulled into Greg's scam, which is he has to tell his one true love how much he feels for her. Meanwhile, back in Detroit, Big Bertha is battling Dr. Goodbod, who has turned all of his henches and Bertha's agent into Berthas themselves. And it's a very interesting thing because, of course, obviously the implication is that it's like all fat, but really there's a ton of muscle behind that mass because we see that everyone is really superhumanly strong. And we get this idea from Dr. Bod that basically what he's doing is giving people limited superhumanity in the form of Big Bertha's superpower, which is to add muscle and mass and power at will. Dr. Bod, after Bertha escapes, Dr. Bod downs a bunch of his pills, which are filled with the Bertha power, which is basically mutant growth hormone. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, Greg is trying to say, "Oh, I know this is the place in New Jersey," but of course it's not, because Greg has just been stalling for time. And Dorman makes the point that he has a quota to meet. Otherwise, he's like cosmically screwed. But then the guy that was actually at the house looks a little like John Goodman. Sees Dorman and Greg and has a heart attack. Meanwhile, Bertha sends a text, which is basically a telephone handle and a cop car, to call the police through her phone to the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Dr. Goodbot has turned into a Hulk-like creature, and he says, "Doctor not Goodbot, am not approved by FDA. It organical, chemical grown, and made from all natural ingredients. Rah! He is gigantic. He is looking for customers. Please buy again." And then we see that Bertha has been knocked over into the pile of bricks as he smashes through. He's basically a giant fat gaiju. Meanwhile, here's a continuity error, man. This is why you didn't get pick of the week this week, GLA. We see that they're trying to fix the Flatmobile, which is the Winnebago. Mr. Immortal has no idea what he's doing. He's about to get a face full of oil because he's about to unnut the oil pan. But he says, I'm turning the thing. He says, which thing? I don't know, the thing. Meanwhile, some hipsters want to buy the Flatmobile because they want to turn it into a food truck, an ironic food truck, they say. They just bought the place next door. Meanwhile, Flatman gets the text from Bertha that says, "Call the cops." We see Good Boy get the same text. We see Lucky saying, she says she has to go to the bathroom, and Lucky doesn't understand what's going on, but he pulls over anyway. Meanwhile, she uses her phone to see what's going on in Detroit. She sees page that says, "Unstoppable monster loose in Detroit." It says, "I'm sorry, Lucky." So she goes out the window. Meanwhile, you come to Detroit, where Dr. Not Goodbod, supplements be a better yourself, be happy, be Goodbod, as they all do battle. Meanwhile, Doorman and Greg have come back. Greg says he's basically Doorman's sidekick. He says, "Well, what powers do you have?" He says, "I don't have any powers. I'm just a ghost." Mr. Immortal goes in to face the battle, but he gets stepped on by Dr. Goodbod. Meanwhile, we see Big Bertha has likewise increased her mass to be a gaiju, having downed a bunch of the own pills, which I don't think was a good idea. But here she is, masked up, ready to do battle. Amazing book, as always. It's a good book. Like I said, the continuity error was that they couldn't get the Flatmobile started, but then, and like a couple pages later, the Flatmobile's running perfectly okay. I'm going to headcanon this because I'm going to say the hipsters, even though they were hipsters, were from Detroit, so they know how to fix a car. So they just, reattached the spark plugs and zip, zam, zoom, the car was running. There you go. Where's my Nobel Prize, Marvel? I'll write you a letter later. And yeah, great fun Roundup. I love Flatman. I want him to really put Mr. Immortal in this place, because you really realize what a joke as a leader Mr. Immortal is. Flatman. Well, I mean, Bertha should technically be the leader, but he should totally be like. I think Flatman makes a better face, but I think maybe Bertha makes a better field leader. But I think that Flatman has here's what I want. I want Flatman to say, "I'm the leader, but I want Bertha to lead us because she's clearly the most capable." And Bertha said, "You know what? You lead, Flatman, and I'll be here to watch your back." Because I do think Flatman has a certain je ne sais quoi that's going to be important for the Great Lakes Adventures. But meanwhile, on the back page, basically everyone tells them they have a superpower, and they say, "Sure, you're in the Great Lakes Avengers." So I got to write them a letter. tell them that I am a former amateur eating, not champion, but participant. Okay, hot dog eating contest at MetLife Stadium in Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. I didn't do well, but I did as best as I could. I'm proud of it. Okay, Phil, that brings us to our 2 books together. What do you want to read?
How about Captain America Sam Wilson number 20?
Oh, that was a good book.
Oh yeah, this was like another contender for pick of the week.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, all like, my only thing with this book is that I can't help but and I get too much in my head with this book sometimes. Like, is it being too preachy? Is it being too apologetic? Which maybe is why it's such a great book.
Yeah, but I mean, it really hits home with like real world events, but I think Nick Spencer does a good job of like portraying different sides and like different groups. So it's not. It would seem more preachy if it came from like one point of view, but you get like multiple points of view from like the protesters to, the TV host and just Sam.
Man, you know what, man? I when I turned to the page of Hank or Henry Hauser, whatever his name is, and I just like looked at that and says, "Oh, I hate that guy." It's like, wow, I really have hate for a fictional character. And can we just give a quick shout out to Paul Renaud, who really, I mean, the artwork in this is really, for standard, like, straight panel comic art, it is really beautiful. And honestly, I could give out to the colorist and the inker too, because, I mean, they're all working together. Oh, no, actually, Paul Renaud is just the artist. So I'm guessing he's doing inks and colors himself.
Wow. But yeah,
either way, it is beautiful.
Yeah, the art is great. I mean, it would still be a good story without the art, but I don't think I would love this story as much as I do without the art. If the art wasn't as quality as it is.
Harry Hauser's the guy's name. Oh, I hate him.
No.
I've never wanted to punch a comic book character in the face. I don't even want to punch Peter Parker in the face as much as I want to punch Harry Hauser in the face. So that says something to you.
Mm. But yeah, so this issue is all about Sam's going over he's sitting in the hospital because he's going over everything in his head about Rage's trial and the AmeriCops and then the protests, the free Rage, a lot of textless pages here where we just see the protests and the AmeriCops dealing, and that, but of course, when we get to Harry Hauser, we get a lot of text.
Oh God! I mean, like, really, I don't want to punch Dr. Doom in the face. I don't even necessarily want to punch Red Skull in the face. I just think the Red Skull's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a guy who is, this is a guy who's an idiot and doesn't know it, and he needs someone to punch him in the face and let him know how much of an idiot he is.
I think that's why this character is here, to hate him, because it's like, okay, is this guy really that stupid? Does he believe everything that's coming out of his mouth, or is he just stirring the waters for ratings?
Oh goodness, that is I think that's why you want to punch him, because it's like either he is a complete idiot who doesn't have a filter, or he's just some opportunist.
Or both.
And it's like the idea that he's just an opportunist. It's like that's like one of the things I've always loved about J. Jonah Jameson, is that every so often they would refocus back on J. Jonah Jameson and actually explain why he hates Spider-Man, explain why he takes his anti-superhero stance, which is about how you can't trust people in this other field. People who wear masks are people who are doing criminal acts. They don't want to be known because they know what they're doing is wrong. And there is a great subtlety to that. And sometimes they want to play J. Jonah Jameson into that Harry Hauser kind of mold. But the fact of the matter is that J. Jonah Jameson has never fit that, and they've always had J. Jonah Jameson pull back. J. Jonah Jameson is a jerk. but J. Jonah Jameson is 100% a jerk, to go Guardians of the Galaxy on you, and you know, with Mr. Riley saying, I don't think anyone's 100% a jerk. Harry Hauser is 100% a jerk,
Yeah, I know, because it's like, Jameson, I mean, he has, he's somewhat an honorable man because he thinks he's helping people, even when he's completely in the wrong. Hauser's just a jerk.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I'm wondering if Harry Hauser was one of these guys who was introduced in the original Uncanny Avengers as like one of the Red Skull's henchmen. I'm not sure.
Is this guy like a slightly heavier Mike Pence?
Honestly, here's what I'll say about Mike Pence. He don't talk much.
He doesn't get the chance to.
No. Honestly, it's like, God bless Mike Pence. He's like, he almost seems like the reasonable one in that duo. Unfortunately, he's actually getting more flack than people. People still think the other guy's the lovable idiot in the pair, but. So I actually think what I actually think is going to happen. I mean, crazy thing. I think Pence is going to resign. Ryan's going to push for impeachment, and then Ryan gets to be president. That's my expectation for the next 3 years.
I don't know. You don't think Pence is going to ride it out hoping for an impeachment, then he becomes president?
No. I actually think Pence, because Pence was the guy that got stuck holding all the bags.
Yeah.
Because I actually think that probably Donald Trump is not as dumb as people think, and he made sure Pence was the guy holding the bag. But I think Pence is going to basically do classic capo stuff where he's basically going to say, you know what, I quit. Let me tell you who told me to hold the bag. You know what I mean? Which is basically how every capo takes down the boss. And I think you do that, and you actually have the chance of redemption because you're the man who stood against the machine. And then Ryan rises, and of course, he gets to be president for a couple of years. Who knows? Maybe if the Democrats run someone really weak, he gets to be, president for another 4. And although I actually think that if they run Al Franken, I think that the Democrats have a lock. But that's my own opinion.
Okay, sorry. I hit the political button, but
yeah, well, you can't help it in this book.
You know what? You do this on all your. You do this here. You do it on Super Connectivity. You do it on GammaCast. I know you're a very busy man as it is, but I just think you would shine on like a current events. I mean, it doesn't have to be all politics, but I mean, just like a Daily Show type podcast. I think you would rock that.
Oh well,
you're passionate. You have the passion for this stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, does anyone want to do a politics podcast? Write me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. I will make the time to do. Gonna have to keep it under half hour, but I will happily do a politics podcast with you. I will warn you now, don't assume I'm a bleeding heart liberal just because I am angry at the current administration. I'm actually a very strict conservative, but there are very few conservatives left in politics. Okay, moving right along. All right. But yes, I'd love to be a politics podcast if Rob wants one. I just need someone to talk to because otherwise it's just me ranting at the screen. I'm no Harry Hauser, man. I can't do it all by myself. I have no visuals. I have no chalkboard behind me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Harry Hauser's going on about rage and the racial agitators, he calls them, about the rioting, and then he's like, when is Sam Wilson, who claims to be Captain America, start doing his job here? He should be apprehending lawbreakers. Instead, he's helping to incite violence. Then we see Sam talking to Elvin in prison, and he's saying, "We got to start working on your appeal." And Elvin says, "It's over." And he says, "I told you from the start I wanted people to see." And Sam's trying to argue with him, and he's telling him, "Elvin, the city's burning out there." And he says, "Maybe we should let it." And he's like, "You really believe that?" And Elvin says, "Maybe what gets built in its place will be something better." Maybe people got tired of asking for change and started forcing it to happen. And Sam's like, you really think that will change anyone's mind? And he says, maybe, maybe not. They're hangry, and the world out there should see it.
Yeah. See, a true conservative would want to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
A true conservative says there are people who are angry. How can we quell the anger and move forward? Because a true conservative doesn't want the world to burn, which is why, the current occupants are not conservatives. There are people who want to burn it all down, which is like, I'm sorry, I didn't vote for Jared Leto to be president. I didn't vote for, I don't want the Joker. The Joker wants to burn everything down. I don't want to watch the world burn. I actually have all my stuff in the world.
I just think the whole system's broken. Well, maybe not completely broken, but I just think we really don't have that many politicians anymore who do it for the good of the public. I think people think what decisions or what can I push through that's going to get my base to reelect me.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think they all get into it for the right reasons. I even think Donald Trump got in it for the right reasons. I actually even think Steve Bannon got into it for the right reasons. It's just that they're wrong.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. I made a point like not too long ago, which is that Steve Bannon wanted to be not Stalin, wanted to be. Who was before Stalin? Who was the guy who? Lenin. Steve Bannon wanted to be Lenin, but he woke up. He dreamed he was Lenin, but woke up and realized he was Rasputin. Which is that, he's going to burn down the system, but he's not going to be the one that rebuilds. He's the guy that inspires actual Lenin, like actual socialistic change in this country, which is not what I want, I don't think that's what anyone wants, but because he decided to go be Rasputin and, rub his horse parts on things, to say, look at me, I'm the biggest guy in the room. It's like, dude, you do realize that's how you get lined up against the wall. Do you want to get lined up against the wall? Because that's how you get lined up against the wall. This is what killed the Tsarist Empire, which maybe is a good thing in theory, but what replaces it is not a revolution of Peter the Great. It is a revolution of Ivan the Terrible. It is a revolution of Lenin and Stalin and the nonsense that comes next. Because I hope that our founders, in their brilliance, in the hope that they were all young Stan Lees at the time, created a universe that could evolve and expand without ever having to be torn down. But I have less and less faith every day in that. And when the revolution comes, I'm just going to keep my head down. And speaking of revolution, let's get back to this book about revolution.
Yeah, so after Elvin and Sam talk, Elvin tells him he's going to move to Z Block, which is a wing in the state penitentiary for superpowered convicts with all the poor conditions and crumbling facilities. That's not going to come back at all.
In this very issue. We don't get much on Z Block, except to get it called out. I'm wondering if that's where Electro was when he blew up the building and freed Black Cat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then Sam's at a press conference with the mayor in front of City Hall. The mayor's saying he contacted the governor for help, looking for solutions. Then Sam gets up and telling everyone, I've been a vocal critic of the AmeriCops program. We're hoping to see some progress on the reforms to law enforcement. He says, well, I understand the anger and frustration. Everyone happened to rage. That does not mean violence is the answer. While most are protesting peacefully, a small number are resorting to looting and attacks on law enforcement. That is never acceptable and undermines the cause we are all fighting for. Just as just as it is never acceptable for the Americops to beat and harass peaceful protesters. The bottom line is we all must demand better of ourselves, especially those of us in leadership positions. And Sam says, do I have to mean the words coming out of my mouth? It's all what I'm supposed to say, not what I want to say. They show him breaking up. He has the birds attacking a Americop who's attacking 2 protesters, I guess. Then Sam goes to church because the pastor is his brother. And he's sitting there during Mass, and his brother's talking about how he's with the protesters. Violence is, he's with them. He won't give up, but he's not talking about violence or destruction. He's talking about a righteous anger. And meanwhile, during this sermon, we see the convicts get a hold of Rage, I guess, in the gym, and they beat him very badly because at the end we see that's why Sam's at the hospital and he's talking to night nurse herself, Claire Temple.
Yeah. Does she like run a clinic now? I mean, how is she the person that is there? I mean, I guess except he gets the rights. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming superhuman physiognomy is a specific field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Claire is a doctor now. Maybe she is Dr. Claire now. But yeah. But I guess superhuman physiognomy is a very specialized field, which explains why she's there. Although NYU is a school of witchcraft, so you'd think that this would be a little more codified at this point. And poor Rage, she's no.
Yeah. Being kept alive artificially, on machines.
Yeah. Him and Jack Flag.
Not Jack Flag anymore.
No. Well, that's because they unplugged them. But yeah, same situation. Well, you almost think that, if you would just let Jack Flag sit there for like a couple more months, he would have totally healed up because he had like superhuman abilities. Makes a much more dramatic story if you unplug him, I guess, is the answer.
I don't know if it was just me, but I just thought that Rage was always more durable. Maybe I was wrong. Like, I thought he had a greater level of invulnerability.
Well, you know what it is he was going up against other non-invulnerable guys. And apparently they don't have a power dampening field. Or maybe they do have a power dampening field, which killed his non-invulnerability, It's like either way you look at it, it's like it was 6 guys against 1, and these are all basically steroid guys. I mean, I don't think Rage was ever supposed to be more than like a Man Mountain Marco.
Okay.
Basically he was an accidental Man Mountain Marco. And the other guys are actual Man Mountain Marcos, which basically makes them at the D-Man level, which is like pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But not so impressive as to make you worry. But if you have 6 of those guys versus 1 of you, that ain't the best thing. And of course, Rage never had all the Captain America training that most Avengers get. Like every other Avenger got super ninja training by Captain America himself, and Rage got bounced out of the team too early. Oh, see, that's a sad story, man.
Yeah.
But you know who has that Captain America training?
Who?
Boulder.
Oh.
You watch, man. They're going to bring him back. Oh, last book, Phil. Was that a thumbs up for you? I got a thumbs up. It was a thumbs up for me. Yeah, it was a good book. It's a book that makes you think, and you got to love a book that makes you think. Okay, let's wrap this up because we are way long this week. The Mighty Thor, sum up, gods are jerks and Loki's smart and you all suck. So, there you go. Okay, so we open up, basically, we have the Shar gods who are just total jerks. I mean, not even like Zeus would be like going, dude, you guys are real jerks. I don't quite get your thing. And it's like almost. Here's the thing is like most gods in the Marvel universe are like, there are natural disasters. They don't actually cause them. It's not like a personal, like, yay, us! I caused the natural disaster. Please worship me. Yay! It's like, no, they're just being evil. They're just basically total, complete jerks. They're bullies. They are bullies. Not unlike Zoe used to be before she realized she was gay and got to understand herself and became a good friend with Nakia, back over in Ms. Marvel. Or like Doc X is totally, Doc X is totally a bully. And basically we see a couple times where like, Thor is winning the battle of the gods because she keeps on defeating the other, the horrible thing. She keeps on trying to save people. And they're like, that's not how this works. We're being gods and doing jerky things because we're big old jerks. Meanwhile, the Asgardians are invading Shar, and you have the Warriors 3 talking like, too bad Volstagg had to stay behind, but Hildegard, which is like my new favorite character, is Hildegard. Honestly, now I want to road trip with Hildegard and Volstagg. With Volstagg being the voice of reason and Hildegard being like, to battle.
And Jim's up writing it.
Oh, goodness. Jim, please. Come on. There you go, Jim. I give you that from me. Hildegard and Volstagg. Yeah, a domestic comedy with dragons and drug dealers. It'll be perfect. We see Hildegard basically beating up people and yammering, not yammering, basically telling Hogan the Grim, who usually doesn't talk, and Fandral the Dashing to shut up and get back to killing. Less crowing, more pecking, you preening roosters. We see Kull leading his battle into army, and then who should show up but Kid Gladiator and Gladiator himself. The entire Sheer are super team, but of course, as Cole says, they brought reinforcements as well. The Destroyer, blowing up stuff. Then we cut to a couple days ago, where basically, obviously Loki, because I put my hand on the wrong side there. Obviously, Loki is telling the Shi'ar jerk gods that, oh, no one cares about you. You're nothing compared to Thor. Thor is awesome. You should totally call out Thor because, awesome and whatnot. We get a whole plot line about the ultimate judgment. That's the only way to stop this competition in which the Shi'ar gods are being just total jerks, murdering people left and right, is to have ultimate judgment. Shadrach does not want to call ultimate judgment because you guys have no idea what ultimate judgment is. The Shi'ar gods, being total jerks, say, hey, ultimate judgment is fine. Now all the Asgardians have busted into the Shi'ar gods' temple space, and then ultimate judgment is called. And we see one flaming claw reach out from a nameless world. Now, Phil, what do you think ultimate judgment is? Is this Satan himself?
I think it's Mangog.
Oh, Mangog? Oh, you know who I think it is? If you look at the preview for Mighty Thor 18 on the last page, look at Kid Gladiator.
Okay.
Very last page.
Yes.
Mighty Thor 18. See anything familiar about Kid Gladiator? That's the person standing next.
Yeah, that's not Kid Gladiator, though.
That's not Kid Gladiator? Who is that?
That's Quentin Quire. He was they kind of painted him as a rebel and almost villainous. And
I know who Quentin is. That Quentin? Because he looks a little like Kid Gladiator.
Uh-huh.
Well, you're right. He's pink here because Kid Gladiator also has a mohawk but he's purple. So, okay, you see, the sunglasses and the mohawk threw me. Because if you look at Kid Gladiator there, when he's talking to his dad on like 4 pages back, he says, "I can't feel anything, especially my face," and he's got the red sunglasses, the mohawk, etc. And then we see there, so Quentin Quire, but you see what Quentin Quire has there.
Isn't it like supposed to be the Phoenix?
Pretty obviously the Phoenix.
Yeah,
he's got a Phoenix on his t-shirt, and he's like got 2 flaming fingers, giving the 2-fingered salute of Phoenix. So
yeah, but no, I sent you a picture of Mangog. Like I think the claws look similar, and I was just looking him up on Wikipedia, and I guess in his first appearance, it says he is depicted as being the sum total of the hatred of a billion beings of an alien race Asgard defeated. And because I guess he at one point Thor used the Odin Force to erase him from existence, but then he returned. And when everyone questioned him why he wasn't dead, he said, "Hatred can never be suppressed or rejected. Wait, hatred can be suppressed or rejected, but never destroyed."
Yeah, that does look like Mangog now that I look at the hands, yeah? Mm-hmm. So I think you're right there, Phil. We may be getting Mangog next week, but then maybe old Thor calls up Quentin Quire to once again say, "Hey, Elder Gods, guess what? You ain't nothing."
Shi'ar, I'll bring in an X-Man.
Yeah, man. Don't forget, the entire life force of the Omniverse is housed on the planet Earth. There's a reason the Earth is the Axis Mundi, the center of the universe.
It doesn't matter.
Means the center of the world.
It doesn't matter if it's Marvel Comics or DC Comics. The universe revolves around the Earth.
Well, yeah, because that's where all the comic books are sold.
You don't know that for sure.
Well, at least all the ones we're reading.
Yeah, the ones that are created by Earthlings, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you go to Mars, it's like, oh, Mars is the greatest place in the universe, and all of the greatest important things happen here on Mars.
They have German accents on Mars.
Of course they do, because it is the master accent. Actually, I was trying to do a Marvin the Martian, but I put too many Z's in there. I want to do a Marvin, but with like a little more, a little more alien of a presence. So it maybe did not come out in the way I intended.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. All right, but that looks. I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like an unstoppable villain. But is that it? We're getting punch drunk here.
Oh, how is that like? It's gonna be Mangog again. It's like, didn't I just kill him? Like, or didn't the other Thor kill him a couple books back? I mean,
yeah, but he always comes back. You can't kill him permanently.
So does Bucky. It's like, yeah, you're gonna come back, but right now I guess we're just gonna boop, push you back. Sorry, you ain't Boulder is what I'm saying, Mangog.
Yeah, but you get a bigger rep when you fight Asgardians on a regular basis.
Yeah. Entirely possible.
All right.
Volstagg, the infatigable, will be there to save us, along with his loving wife Hildegard, who will tell him to get back to the kitchen, where he is best served. She'll probably say, "Yeah, sounds great. That's where the food is."
Jeez. All right, let's get out of here. Please contact us, email us if you want to do your own reviews of books, especially ones we aren't reading. Email us, marvelroundup@gmail.com. On Facebook, give us a like, facebook.com/allnewmarvelroundup. Our Twitter is @Marvel_Roundup. Give us a follow there. And we're even on Instagram, Marvel Roundup. And Charlie, where can people find you, especially those Germans from Mars?
Yes. Well, if you are a German from Mars, or even a German from Venus, or from one of those new 7 worlds we haven't named yet because in our hubris we feel we get to name them. Please write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way my mom and pa used to do, but the way that your ancient ancestors probably a million years ago did. Email at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet Powerless, the best show DC ever made. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a pretty good show that Marvel makes. And of course, Legends of Tomorrow, the worst show that DC ever made. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
All right, and as for me, you can always get a hold of me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And you're a big Marvel fan, so check out everything else on the Enough Said podcast, Enough Said, Super Connectivity, Wade's World, and the upcoming. Have you settled on a name for the Iron Fist Cat podcast yet?
You know what? We're probably going to figure it out on Monday when we're recording it.
Okay. Well,
you know, it's like this. We can do Ironcast, and that's easy. As Maz said, you only have to move 2 letters in the actual Iron Fist logo. But, man, fisting with Chaz and Maz, or Maz and Chaz, does still sound good. As does Kunlun Crew. You know, we're still working hard to figure out what to do next. And, hey, if you have an idea, let us know. Nothing's set in stone. I mean, we could always go with, since this is leading into the Defenders, we could just not call it Iron Fist, just say it's the Defenders cast and call it Don't Be Defensive.
All right, and so check all those out. Check on the DC side, check out Legends of DC, where me, Charlie, and all our friends hang out. Channel 52 and Before the Bat. And check out the latest episode of This Week in Geek. I am on there. And don't be afraid just because of Lil's in the shower. Alright. Let's get out of here. So, please, all our fans, spread the word. We want to grow our podcast and become internationally famous. Doesn't matter where you live on this planet, or even if you're Germans from another planet. All are welcome. Good night.